What up, YouTube? You already know Big Lou tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou. NFCR 2, baby. So, man, what a motherfucking statement that Stylebender, aka Israel Adesanya, made last night in Miami by regaining his middleweight UFC title belt. Um, wow. But first of all, let me talk about. So I was incorrect on my predictions on a couple of the fights. Rosas, I don't remember if I said that he was going to win, but I remember saying that they had big hopes for the kid and bright future for him at the UFC. He got beat. Yanez, I picked. He got beat, and then I picked because I said I didn't know what Kevin Holland would show up. Obviously, the explosive one showed up, and he knocked out old boy in the third round, I believe it was. So I was incorrect on that. I was also incorrect on the Masvidal Gilbert Burns fight, and the reason I told you guys why I went for Masvidal, he's Latino, he's an OG. It is what it is. He looked like I seen somebody put a comment. I don't remember what video it was, but they said it did look like he didn't even train for this, and I will piggyback off that. He did not. He looked like he had a little beer gut on him. I know he's gotten a little bit more like that, in the later years because now he's in his late 30s. Right? He might. I don't know sure how old he is. He might be even older than that, but I know for sure he's late 30s. Um, and so yeah, it wasn't the Jorge Masvidal that everybody was accustomed to seeing. I mean, he does have a lot of losses. I think that was his 16th loss. But nonetheless, he's a beast. And like I said before, nobody usually goes undefeated in mixed martial art competitions. Through the because you got Bellator, you got Strikeforce, you got all these different ones that they still keep track of their win loss, no contact, all that. It still goes on as their overall professional career stat win loss columns, but the UFC will break it down to how many UFC fights because as everybody knows, UFC is pretty much the big leagues. You know what I'm saying? All those other ones, Bellator, Strike Force, all those other ones that have been bought out now and then some that are still going. You got like Khabib's Eagle FC. He's those guys out there that usually he signs over there are either up and coming people that really nobody knows about, or they're guys that are over the hill that were at one time big name guys in UFC, and now they're over there. So you know what I mean? But Masvidal definitely has had put his mark on this sport. He still holds the record for the fastest knockout with that knee to Ben Askren's face. You know what I'm saying? That's unforgettable right there. So he's definitely laid it down for this sport, for his name, for his legacy, for the Latino people, for the Cubanos. He's half Cuban, I believe, and half Peruvian. So he's definitely put it down for us Latinos. He makes us Latinos. He's one of those cats that makes you proud. And he's got that little street mentality, that street slang, the street part of him, which is all good in Hollywood. I just wish that they wouldn't use the bitch word and punk word and things like that. But you guys know how I feel about that. Nonetheless, even though he came in there overweight and looked out of shape and untrained, like he didn't train for this fight, I'm not taking nothing away from Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a beast. He's showed that he's a beast. He wants nothing but the best. He wants to fight Leon Edwards or Kobe Covington, whoever wins that fight, because I believe that's the next fight at the welterweight division. I could see Kobe winning. I could see Kobe taking that because the fact of his wrestling skills, and Edwards is more of a striker on his feet. That's where Kamar fucked up this last fight because he had a lot of opportunities to do, takedowns and all that, and he tried to fight him from the, toe to toe, and I think that fucked him up. Yeah, he can throw some punches. He's got some boxing skills, but his main thing, he's a collegiate wrestler, All American wrestler, such as John Jones, Kobe Covington too. So I think Leon's gonna be in trouble with Kobe. I think Kobe's gonna take him down and just straddle the shit out of him. You know what I'm saying? And go for a submission. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think Kobe's gonna do. I don't see Kobe knocking him out. But then again, who knows? You know what I'm saying? That ref can jump in there and stop it at any time. Hey, shh. Um, so I got these guys tied up right now because Champ, I'm not even letting him loose no more because he runs off. If he sees a dog, he goes at the dog no matter what. and he don't always come right back to me when I call him. So we're not taking those chances. And I think that's what that has to do with him, being raised up with not only the litter, his litter mates, but the mother, still around there. His older siblings, such as Stiletto and Big Chief, and then there you got old dirty bastards running around. So he's used to being around dogs, So when he sees another dog, he just thinks it's playtime, and he goes and runs at him. But anyways, back to the fight. Gilbert Burns is a tough little dude. He showed that when he fought Kamsat Chimaev. And like I've mentioned before, I believe Gilbert would have won if that would have been a 5-round fight. He would have won that fight easily because it seemed to me like he was starting to get cooking. He was starting to get cooking and get going, and unfortunately, or ding ding, the bell rang, and the third round was over. The fight was over. So, but Gilbert Burns is definitely a top 5 welterweight. I want to say he's even. I mean, Kamar Usman's still there, in my opinion, but you got Leon and then Kobe and then Usman and him, So, congrats to him on the victory. Also, send off to and well wishes to Jorge Masvidal and his family. He's part of American Top Team, so he probably get involved with the training. I would believe, I would imagine. I mean, and start even if you don't become a part of, stay with Top Team and he wants to go his own route, he'll definitely get a lot of business. You know what I'm saying? That's for sure. I don't doubt that for 1 minute. But to the main event now. Man, Izzy went in there. He, at the press conference, he said a few different times he's done talking. He wants to get in there, and a lot of people were just thinking, oh, that's bullshit, He got your ass, he whipped your ass 3 times, And if you guys have watched those other fights, Izzy was actually winning pretty much, not pretty much, he was winning and up on the cards on all 3 fights. And somehow Pereira always finds a way to get him out of there. This time, total different scenario. What I noticed was in the fight, I noticed that Izzy kept going back and forth from orthodox to southpaw, and he would do it fast, like boom boom, and then switch, and then maybe throw a leg kick or thigh kick, and then switch, or throw a body shot or a body kick, and then switch back and forth, back and forth. And in my opinion, it was making Pereira uncomfortable, very much so. And then not only that, when he went back to his corner between rounds 1 and 2, he was doing most of the talking. So that told me, because he was trying to say like, "Oh, I got him. I'm doing this with the right. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I was shocked to hear him speaking so much and not allowing his corner to speak, because that's usually not something you see unless there's some type of tension there or something that's going on between the camp and the team, But he spoke the whole time and didn't let his trainers talk. I didn't hear Glover really say much, but I thought that Izzy was going to go in there and do the takedowns like he did last fight, because he was manhandling him and it was his way, um, like at Burger King, have it your way. He was having it his way in that third fight, the first UFC fight, and then no, he stood there. He did a lot of leg kicks, a lot of thigh kicks. He was getting kicked a lot though on both legs, because like I said, he kept switching from orthodox stance to southpaw. If you guys don't know what orthodox means, that means right-handed, standing right where your right hand is in the back, your left hand's the lead hand. That's what that means. Orthodox. Or unorthodox would mean not the norm, basically. But usually you could say unorthodox for a southpaw, or you could say southpaw. But in my opinion, even the look on Adesanya's face, he was locked in. He had like just a different look to him that I'd never seen before. And I seen him take a couple of shots where I thought, oh, here we go. Pereira was able to load up a few different times. But that last time he started to go to load up, Izzy had something for that ass. He hit him with I believe it was he hit him with one, I think it was a right. And then as he was falling, he caught him again. And then when he fell, he hit his head on the thing. And I think he gave him one hammer punch, or whatever you call that one, down. He gave him one, and then the ref got in between before the second one could land. And Pereira was even down, sitting down like for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So Izzy went in there and made a huge statement. He put it down, and he said, at the press conference, he said, "Well, what's up with a trilogy?" He said, "I'm not even like that's." He basically said like that's nowhere in the cards right now, because he goes, he didn't fight nobody, and he only one he really fought that was about any like somewhat of a contender or somewhat of a big name was Sean Strickland. He goes, he beat Sean Strickland, and then I gave him the shot, and he's correct, because he just basically said like he didn't do no work to get there, and I agree with him on that. It was name only on based on what he did before with him. That's what it all boiled down to. Um, I'll say that by rights, I believe he should have had to go through Robert Whitaker, Marvin Vittori, Paulo Costa, even Jared Cannonier, all those type of guys first. But no, Izzy ended up signing the fight and allowing him to come up with. I think he only had he's what 8-7-2 right now, so minus 2 fights. So he had like 7 fights, pro MMA fights, when he signed the dotted line and agreed to the fight with Alex Pereira. I don't know. I won't say that he didn't come in unprepared. That maybe the winning went to his head. I won't say all that. I don't believe all that. I just believe that because Izzy made a comment that he works out and when he trains, but he likes to mess around too. He said this camp he was straight locked in, and he made some statements. And you know what? Another thing too, I'll say this because they were clowning him about him being on the rollerblades or whatever he was doing when the tennis balls were getting thrown at him. I don't know if you guys didn't seen it or not, but I've seen it a couple times when he was against the fence of the octagon, and he made those moves like he was on those skates, So, and he didn't get hit. So, clown all you want, but he's sitting on top again for the second time, and this just added on to his legacy. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna go down as one of the greats. I mean, I think he's already there as far as conversation as far as not the GOAT, because there ain't no way he oversteps George St. Pierre, or definitely not John Jones. But at some point it can get there. You know what I'm saying? It can get there. He's already beat Whitaker twice. He beat Paulo Costa. He beat Marvin Vittori. He beat Anderson Silva. Even though Anderson was older, he still beat him. So tip my hat to Izzy, man. That dude went in there and handled his business. Wasn't scared. Knows the dude hits like a motherfucker. And that was the thing too. I mentioned is that he weighs in. They weigh in the night before the fight, just like with boxing. He was weighing at 185, whatever it was, 184 3/4. I'm not sure what Pereira weighed in at, but fight night they come in, at 212, 210, 215. You're talking, you're talking a lot of weight difference there. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so like I said, hats off to Izzy. He did his thing, man. He handled his business, and let's see what it holds for him. I know he had a hell of a time last night in Miami because he was already drinking Jack Daniels and Coke while he was up on the thing, on the doing the post fight conference. So let's see where he goes from here. I'm curious to see what happens too on the welterweight division. I'm curious to see what Jorge Masvidal gets into, when he's done with what he gets into now that he's retired. You know what I mean? So all that, again, everybody, it's happy Easter. Be safe today. Be aware. Always know your surroundings. Make sure you lock your doors when you get in the car. If you feel anything that feels off, you get that gut feeling that something ain't right, get out of there. And with that being said, Big Lou tapping out.